Look at expectations in paper 2. Expectations in MathsLIT paper 2. First and foremost, we know very well that in paper 2, we shall be looking at measurements, then we need to look at maps, plans, and scales. All right. Then the other part would be probability. All right. Number one, actually, question number one will be about measurements, the low question levels, these easiest questions for question number one. All right, the 2-mark questions, and probably it would be measurements. All right. Then under measurements, what do you expect to see under measurements? Look at measurements. We shall expect you to know the conversions. You need to know how to convert the conversions. Then we shall look at length. You understand? Breadth. Also, we look at what? Height. This could also include the weight, how we get the weight. We look at temperature. You know very well that we have 2 types of temperature there. Right? The Fahrenheit, the Celsius. Then we have volume, which will be area. Look at volume. Volume. Then we look at perimeter. Please, as you answer these questions here, don't forget in paper 2 we need your units. The units have to be indicated on your answers. And before you perform any calculation, make sure that the units you're going to use are all the same. If you're to use millimeters, let them be millimeters. If they are centimeters, let them be centimeters. If they are meters, make sure they are all meters. All right, we have time. Time, remember we have what we call the analog. Then we also have what we call the digital. The analog is a 12-hour system, which will always have AM or PM. Then the digital one, it's what we call the 24-hour system. It has nothing like AM or PM. Take note of that. Then they might be asked to look for the distance on a given map. Distance will be on maps. Then we go to the second section, which would be we look at what we call maps. Maps, this can go hand in hand with plans, which is a floor plan, and they will be looking a mixture of what? Scales. So here we expect you to look at something like a sitting plan. A sitting plan, this can be seen on planes, cruises, or ship or boats. We can see it also in an examination room. Sitting plan, another one can be also on a bus. Which seat number is here? Where is the toilet located? Yes, and actually when you look at maps, and you should know the what we call the general direction. The general direction, and this will be guided by general direction is guided by the small instrument called the compass. North, east, west, south. This is what we shall be looking at. Then don't worry, we also, there's what we call the grid. Grid reference, this is all under maps. Grid reference, the position where a certain item is found. When you look there, you go on and you say, we've looked at the layouts, which is the layouts, we shall say, these could be also the examples of a floor plan. Then the field layout, the sports field layout, you've seen it, the seat number, which shows seat numbers. This is more like a seating plan, but not, you understand? There we go. Then we look at elevations. You know, when we look at floor plans and elevations, you've seen elevations before. The walls, the southern elevation, the northern elevation, the eastern elevation. That will be the one that we'll be looking at. And then when you look at maps, should be able to tell which map are you looking at. We have the favorite one, which is the strip map. If not a strip map, we can have a street. This one will be full of street. It will be showing street names. You know, small portion, but it'll be showing street names. Street map. Then we have what we call the national and provincial. This will be showing roads, the national roads, to be also showing the provincial roads. You understand? National road will be moving from one province to another. That becomes a national road. All right. We look at plans. These are the plans, and we look at the plan diagrams. You've seen them, the assembly diagrams. Please look at this. The assembly diagrams should also be there. Then after the plans, you also put in mind is what we call packaging. Put in mind what we call packaging. Packaging, it's when we shall find out how many containers or boxes that will fit in a given area. You've seen that in a given area. All right. Please take note. What you have to take note of, it's units. All right. When it comes to units, I want you to know that when it comes to area, the units will always have a square. When it comes to perimeter, the units will remain the same. Then if it comes to volume, the units will be cubed. The units will be cubed. These, please make sure that your answers have units. Make sure that your answer have units. Okay. Make sure your answer have units. Your answers should have units. Yes, I wanted to show you something small when it comes to time. People struggle when they ask time to be given in hours and minutes. This is an example. If Mr. H traveled from a certain place, point A, to point B. And he used, let's say, 8,28 hours. We need this to be in hours and minutes. What we are going to do first, 8,28, these are hours. Of this, 8 is a full hour, 8 are full hours. So already 8 is this other side. Now what's remaining? The 0,28. Now these ones, to change them into minutes, we shall say 0,28 multiplied by 60. So we shall end up having the answer as 0,28 times 60. So this will be 8 hours, approximately 16 minutes. You see that? That's how we change. So the other easiest way is to go to use your calculator. On your calculator, you have this button here. The button that looks like this. So all you're going to do is to press 8,28. You press the equal signs, then afterwards you press that button. This button here. Let me just show it to you now. It will be 8,28. You press equals. Having pressed equals, you come and press this button here. You see the answer we get. So we have it as 8 hours. We have it as 8 hours, 16 minutes, 48 seconds. 48 seconds. The other one is to find out how much time the person spent, which we call the duration. The duration, this is the first example. Then example number 2, we have what we call, this one is about duration. The duration is going to be so simple also. Remember, duration, we take the end time when the person ended the activity, and we subtract when the person started the activity. All right? When the person started the activity. So it's going to be, here we have an example here. An example here, it's Mr. J began his journey at 10:42 a.m. and arrived at 2:48 p.m. So they ask you how much time did he take? So what you're going to do, remember we said the end time minus, but then make sure that everything is in 12-hour system. So when we change 10:42 to 12-hour system, it remains 10. We're changing it to, it's in 12-hour system, the analog, we're changing it to 24-hour system, the digital. All right. So this was AM, it remains the way it is. What about the 2 p.m.? The 2 p.m. 48, it changes to 14:48. So now it makes it easy to subtract. Remember, this was the start time, and this was the end time. Come back to the method here, the duration, look at that, it becomes n time minus. So this will mean 14 hours, 48 minus 10 hours, 42. So simple, just subtract. This is 48 minus this, you get 640. So the person spent 4 hours and 6 minutes. So if you want everything into everything into hours, it means the 4 hours plus 6 minutes divided by 60. Why? Because the 6 minutes have to change into hours, which is 0.1. So it will be 4.1 hours. We shall always use this when we are asked for speed. Speed, our time will always be in hours. Time has to be in hours. All right. Then how do we use the other key that I just showed you? The key I just showed you, we shall do it this way. We shall take, remember you've already changed the time. So we shall take 14, 14, we press the key, 48, you press the key, minus 10, you press the key, 42, you press the key. Afterwards, you press equals, which is indeed true. It's 4 hours, 4 hours, and 6 minutes. This is what we got here. But if you want it in hours, all you do now, you just press that key again to give you 4.1. And that's how we shall do it. Don't forget the formulas. All right. Don't forget the formulas. Conversion, kilometer, meter, centimeter, and millimeter. Conversion, be expected. You'll have to convert here and there. Here and there. We said big to small, we shall need to multiply, and small to big, we shall need to divide. Come knowing this, it will be there. Kilometers to meters, multiply by 1,000. Meters to centimeters, multiply by 100. Centimeters to millimeters, multiply by 10. You see that? So the opposite is true. Meters to kilometers divided by 1,000. Centimeters to meters divided by 100. And millimeters to centimeters divided by 10.